Welcome to the Root of It All podcast with Tree, your human behavior expert. Did you ever wonder why you have the behaviors that you have or how to change them? Did you ever wonder about different people in different industries and what made them good at what they do? Well, this is the podcast for you. You're learning all about human behavior from the experts. So cozy up, go for a walk, or go for that drive that you've always wanted to, and get ready to learn. Learn about you, learn about others, because us as humans, we are the funniest creatures on this planet. So let's learn together. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Root of It All podcast with Tree. And today I have a very interesting guest, and she actually reached out to me. So I don't know her very well, so this is going to be an awesome conversation. We are all going to get to know this beautiful human being all at the same time, which is great. So here we have Sarah Kinlin, and she is the author of Grit, Grace, and Goals. I love that name. She's also a speaker, a mindset coach. She's also a mom, a wife, and a sister. So welcome, Sarah. Thanks so much for reaching out.
Thank you for having me, Tree.
So one of the things that we were talking about as we were just connecting is spirituality. So teach me about just kind of your journey where, because you were saying that you worked in corporate, and so teach us about your journey or whatever you want, whatever you feel comfortable sharing when you transitioned from corporate to being more spiritual or connecting, or maybe you were already spiritual when you were in corporate, but just teach us how that is. I love hearing these stories.
Yeah, so I worked in the corporate world for almost 25 years. And I did that because I was following all the rules. So I was the smartest kid in my class. It made sense that I would go get a degree in chemistry, and then I would get a great job, and I would work and climb the corporate ladder. And that stuff all made sense to me, following all of the rules, got the husband, got the kids, got the car, got the house, like all the things. And then I was at a spot where I realized this isn't where I want to be. And it's interesting because no one's asked me the question about my spiritual journey on this part, although discovering my spirituality about 4 years ago has been a big part of this. I always had faith. I was raised Catholic, hence the rule following, and to church. Like even in my university days, I would like get out of bed hungover as crap on a Sunday morning and go to church because that's what you did, right? And so that being a Catholic started to not feel good, as I started to question things, maybe probably 10 or 15 years ago. But still having that spirituality and having faith was important to me. And so I've let go of the religion and embraced the spirituality. And that feels so good for me. Trusting my intuition, listening to signs that I see. If I need a little guidance, I might pull an oracle card. I spend a lot of time hugging trees. So I've discovered this whole relaxed spiritual side of me, I definitely had faith and religion in my earlier years, but now I have strong spirituality.
And that's beautiful. I really believe how important that is in terms
Mhm.
of where we're going in life. And it's such a support system. And I was just telling you before we hopped on the pod here that a lot of clients come in and part of the reason why they're stressed out is that they're in fear of the unknown.
Mhm.
And so people can either be in fear of the unknown or they can step into spirituality and be totally okay with the unknown. And that's really what spirituality is. And I think it's different for everybody. Like we all have our own, whether it's cards, whether it's crystals, whether it's signs, and the signs are totally different, whether it's hugging a tree, whether it's being out with nature. Like, oh my gosh, I could probably just ramble off a whole podcast filled with like tons of things, which is the most beautiful thing that we have so many things that we can actually hold on to or connect with, and it's so beautiful. One of the things that I love to connect with, like I'm out every morning with my dog. So anybody that follows me on socials, they follow my dog as well because I post pictures of my dog every morning. um, but I love the mornings when I come up, when I go outside and I'm going for a walk and there's the moon on one side and the sun on the other
Mhm.
side just coming up, and it's kind of like being hugged by the universe. So that's sort of my sort of uh, something that really grounds me every morning that allows me to do all of the things that I do in a day. So
Mm.
what's something that you do that you either make sure that you do every day or maybe at least a few times a week that really allows you to stay either grounded or connected to spirituality, or what is that
Mm.
for you?
First, let me jump back to your fear and then how, like, fear of the unknown and how spirituality helps us with that, because no one's ever described that in that way to me.
Mm,
And maybe it's my corporate upbringing, but I have a tremendous fear of the unknown. And so I never thought about why the spirituality piece is so important to me. It is trusting the unknown, right? It is trusting. So
mm,
it's a beautiful awareness for me in this moment to think when I am fearful of the unknown, I can connect further to my spirituality, right?
that's
So
right.
beautiful. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And the next question you asked me was,
So what's something that you do, whether it's every day, whether it's a couple times a week, that really allows you to feel grounded or safe, secure, whatever the case may be. We all have something. We all should have something. Maybe if you're listening to this and you don't, then absolutely go towards something. But Sarah, what would be something for you that keeps you really grounded or feeling
yeah,
safe?
I have a few things, and I keep building and building and building on these things. But something really beautiful in my office, I put a heating pad under my feet. My
Mm,
feet were always cold in my office. The heating pad keeps my feet warm, but also reminds me to keep my feet on the ground, which is good for
mm,
ergonomics,
I love that.
and reminds me how grounded I am. So that one has been beautiful and doesn't take any time, right?
Oh, I wish I knew that years ago. When I was working in office, my feet were frozen. I never
Yeah.
thought about a
So,
heating pad.
yeah, it's just a little heating pad that's for your back that has a 30-minute timer. So, yeah. And the other thing I do many, many times a day, more if I'm stressed, is I have this beautiful skin toner and I just
Mm,
spray my face, hand on my heart, look out a window, 3 deep breaths. It literally takes 3 seconds and it resets me. The hand on my
beautiful.
heart lets me know I'm safe. The spray has a beautiful aroma, so it gives
Mhm,
me a reason to breathe it in to slow my breath down.
mhm,
And I keep a bottle of that at my bedside table. So first thing in the morning, that's what I reach for. And I keep it in our powder room. So when we have a house full of people, because I have a huge family, they're often
mhm.
here. I can just escape into the powder room, hand on my heart, relax.
Beautiful. And
Mhm.
the interesting thing about you, I mean, as a human behavior expert, and we just met, and everybody knows, like, I love sharing sort of what I get from people or what I'm reading from their body language and stuff. And so, what I'm hearing from you and seeing and observing is you are what we call, you're very kinesthetic. So, and also gustatory. So we literally have three main ways that we communicate. We either communicate through visual terms, auditory terms, or kinesthetic terms. So you communicate mostly by kinesthetics. You probably love hugging people, you love
Mhm.
connecting with people's energies and stuff. And when it comes to scent, that means that you are gustatory is scent and olfactory is taste. I mean, we most commonly, the three main ones is visual, auditory, kinesthetic, but there's also the scent. So even if you're just listening to this and you're not seeing it, but you should see how Sarah's facial features completely changed when she said, "Oh, the smell of the scent of the mist, the spray." So it's just interesting how we communicate. And so I'm sure even let's talk about your book a little bit. So your book, because you are kinesthetic, you probably are writing it in kinesthetic terms. I'm also kinesthetic. My
Mhm.
book is the same.
Mhm.
So it's interesting when people are even reading books, if somebody is a writer and they're very visual, they're going to write from visual terms. They're going to attract visual readers, right?
Mhm.
If somebody is auditory, there's going to be a lot of like detailed words or what I like to call $10 words, right? So they're like picking up and sensing the words. If we're kinesthetic, we're getting to feel everything more. So teach me about like what made you want to write that book in the first place. So grit, grace, and goals, which those
Mhm.
are great G words. It's like the OG, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. So what made me want to write the book is my dad passed away about 15 years ago. He was an amazing man. He was like a dad to 9 kids. There's 9 of us in our
oh,
family.
wow, champ. Your
And
mom's a champ. 9 kids.
well, she's not in the book. But my dad raised us, like
Okay.
raised 9 kids in the 80s. It's
Oh,
amazing.
wow. Okay.
Um, like I just picture him like standing like at a baseball diamond and there's a little candy shop and he's just got his hand in his pocket and he keeps putting his hand out and giving more coins for us to buy more candies. Like he was just amazing. And there's 18 years from the oldest to the youngest, so it's like a whole
Wow.
generation basically between the kids. And then
Can I
it,
just ask you something really specific? I can let you keep going, but what is your most favorite experience with your dad? What like pops into your head?
on my 9th birthday, he took me fishing, just me and him.
So yeah. So that's
Mhm.
a kinesthetic thing too. So it was a kinesthetic bond that you had with your dad. That's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. So yeah, keep going. Tell us about your book.
So in September of 2023, so almost 3 years ago, my brother passed away.
Oh,
And a
happy
month after,
birthday. Wow.
yeah, thank you. And a month after he passed away, I can say lost, but I manifested exiting the corporate world. But those are two huge things to have happen within a month of each other. And so I hired a grief recovery specialist. And in working through the all of the losses that I've had over my life, the one I worked through was with my dad. And I learned through that process that I was kind of holding a grudge against him. Like, why did he let us live in this house with this not so great mother for all those years? And then I realized how amazing he did, actually, and how many amazing memories we had from him, and how awesome my childhood was, despite the non awesome things. And I
Mhm.
started writing stories about my dad, about my childhood. And the stories turned into leadership lessons, which turned into grit and grace calls to action. And within 3 months, a book was out of me. It just flew out of
Beautiful.
me. Well, my brother, who passed away, was a professional writer, so I fully believe that he helped me write the book.
Mhm.
Um, and it will be interesting for me now with this knowledge I've learned from you today to reread the book. But I do believe, yes, it is more about the feelings. So each chapter is a story or a collection of stories from my childhood and less about, yeah, the other things, but more about how I was feeling in those moments, right? My
Yeah.
dad told me I was a leader from a very early age. I believed him. I led our family. That has a lot to do with me being a rule follower. But then the stories of um, transitioning, through the last few years of my life are in there too. So, yeah.
That's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. And one an interesting thing, like working with so many different clients, and a lot of people are in the rules category, right? Like, because rules keep us safe, they keep us in accountability. Um, Also, too, I find lately, because different themes come through, like over years, like when different things are happening in society, where right now with the climate of certain things in the world, that some people are gravitating towards more rules to help themselves keep safe. And sometimes people they gravitate towards rules because they want to be a good person or like a good boy or a good girl. And it's like been ingrained with many of us growing up. And sometimes what happens is that people's nervous systems can hold on to unuseful energy. I can use that word with you because I know you're spiritual. Um, but they can hold on to certain energies in their body because they're like, don't know if it's right or wrong or if it's following the rules correctly. And it can even uh, manifest or hold strong in certain parts of the body. It can create sometimes pain. It can create discomfort mentally, physically, or spiritually. So for you writing that book, what a beautiful release. What a beautiful sentiment to your brother and your dad, and like having that, still having that connection even though he was passed. That's such a beautiful thing, Sarah. Such a beautiful.
Yeah. Like, and so long after to rebuild that amazing relationship.
Hmm.
And my dad has been with me the whole time since he passed away. I know he sends me these amazing signs like cardinals flying by or whatever. Um, and it's not that I didn't love my dad and didn't think he was amazing 3 years ago, but through the process of grief recovery, I realized just how amazing he was.
Hmm.
So,
And
and I celebrate that in the book. Yeah. And the other thing about having, like, I have 8 siblings. Uh, they they were all worried about me writing a book about our childhood, and so that was an interesting process. So in the first draft I sent to them, and I had to be sure that they knew it's my story. Like, it's not the same, like, it's not how they remember it. Even there's a turtle on the cover of the book because we had pet turtles. Well, I was about 8 or 9 when we had pet turtles, but my older brother was 14 or 15. My youngest brother maybe wasn't even born yet. So it all of us remembered the turtles in a different way. Some of them just got the turtle memory through stories. Maybe some of them saw it. Did we have them for a week? Did we have them for years? Nobody really knows. So,
and that's
yeah,
the thing, we all remember things differently. Even
yeah,
like even if you think about hundreds of thousands of people being at a rock concert and
yeah,
everybody like heard the same artist, the same songs, everyone would describe it differently because they're
yeah.
looking at something different. They're in a different part of where the stage is. Um, so let me ask you this. So you mentioned you're a mom, a wife, and a sister. So
Mhm.
and I see that there's pride in those things, like good, healthy pride. So teach us about that. And I'm listening. I'm gonna grab my charger because I don't want to run out of juice because I don't want people to miss this answer here. So go
Okay,
teach us about this.
amazing. Yeah, so I am stepping into the identity of me first. So putting myself first has been a big change for me.
Hmm.
So I will say I love myself and I am a mom, wife, and sister. So before, my identity was to be a mom, wife, and sister, and they all came first. So now I will have to say, I am important. I love myself. I look in the mirror and I'm like, hot damn, you look good today.
Hmm.
And I'm a mom, wife, and sister, and that is so important to me. Like, I love those people. I will do anything for those people
Hmm.
if I'm taken care of first.
Hmm.
So that's been a big change. When my brother was sick, my other brother was also sick. It's in the last chapter of the book. Both of them are sick at the same time. One lived, one did not. Both, we could have lost both of them at the same time. The other one is alive and well now, thank God. Um, but I put them ahead of my needs. I put them ahead of my family's needs. And maybe that was the right thing to do. Like, I'll never get that time back with them. Um, but I just have a better understanding of how I'm taking care of me now, right? And the better I take care of me, the better they all are.
And that is such a good learning for everybody because I think so many people can relate to that. Uh, in in the clinic, we work with people, and I think you could relate to this as well. Um, People that are empaths, right? So they like, yeah. So if you're
That's
Jessica's
me.
listening to this, big smile on her face, big yes nod. Yeah. And it's interesting because we, as empaths, we can connect with people energetically. So if anybody is in need or anything, it's like we're not really thinking. We are just, it's like a magnet. You're just going and you're like, oh, this needs to be done, that needs to be done, this needs to be done, that needs to be done. All of a sudden, like half a day goes by and maybe you forgot to eat or drink water or do all of these things, right? Sarah's nodding her head again, smiling. Yeah, and many people can relate to this. And it really is about Um, it's almost as if we have our own train and it's like a magnetic thing. We end up on somebody else's track and then
Mm.
we end up looking after them or doing things for them. And the person doesn't need to be ill or sick. And I've caught myself do that plenty of times because being a business owner, like I very much understand how businesses work. So when startup companies, they'll come, oh, can you coach me? Sometimes and I catch myself because I'm actually doing it for them.
Mm.
And I'm like, this is not how it should be because they're not learning.
Yep.
And it's not for me to do because they need to learn. And it's also part of being kinesthetic because we do, right? And so over the years, I've had to create boundaries and now I'm teaching other people how to do the same thing because it's important that at the end of the day, you're drained and then you get angry and upset because your needs aren't being met or your goals aren't being completed and all those things. So teaching empaths how it is that they can stay on their own agenda. And even within our Master Hypnotist Society, there's this lovely, lovely woman. Her name is Heather McFall, and she wrote a book about, I think it's called The Empath's Journey. Don't quote me on that, but it really is about uh, people that can end up being what's called like a supplier to somebody and giving somebody sympathy. And sympathy is basically like crack cocaine. People will just constantly come back and wanting more all the time. But it's so important that we actually stay on our own agenda and stay on our own path. We can still help people, of course, because it's part of our natural makeup, right? But it's keeping one foot on our path at all times. And then we can take it one foot off and be like, hey, are you good? Checking in, and then coming back to our own path. And then checking in, but checking with ourselves first. Do we have the time, energy, and resources to help somebody else out? If the answer is no, then the universe is telling you you're good and that person's good.
Mhm.
Where sometimes we default to like, are you good? Are you good? Are you okay? Are you good? Are you good? Are you okay? Right? Like, meanwhile, we forget to ask ourselves, are we good? Are we okay? And then giving ourselves what it is that we need. So, and it's never good. I don't think it'll ever be perfect. What is perfect, really, right? I think we are all actually in our own perfection already. And I think it's funny when if people are looking around and be like, oh, what's perfect? Or what's the rules? Or what do we need here? Right? Like, so yeah, I think holding on and having that, holding on to spirituality, having outlets to get grounded, to feel good, to step into things because life, one, is not fair. Two, crap happens.
Mhm.
But we must go on. We must do what it is that we need to do to stay happy, to be happy, to love, to experience, to be free, and all of those great things. So teach us what is like the most adventurous kind of experience that you've ever had that you're so excited that you had and that you would never give up.
Mm. Well, I immediately what come to mind is on May 30th, I'm going to be skydiving. So that's pretty adventurous. Yeah.
You gotta high five me. I've skydived as well. Give me a high five.
Yeah. Um, yeah.
What brought that on? What was that decision like?
I have a friend that leads skydivers. She's a professional speaker as well. So she talks about the fear and
Mhm.
why you would do this to get over the fear and what a metaphor it is for life. But mostly, I want to fly. Like, I know the jump part sucks, but the flying part is going to be amazing. That's like, I really want to feel the flying.
The jump part doesn't really suck. It's kind of
No?
like it's the exciting part. It's kind of like standing on the edge of a dock and
Okay.
you don't know how cold the water is, and then you
Okay.
get in, right? You
Okay.
jump off. That's the exciting part. And then when
Okay.
you get in the water, you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that like when I jump off the end of a dock, it's the in the air part that's the best, right? Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
the in the air part's gonna last for a little bit longer. So I'm really excited about that. I think it's a nice metaphor for the leap that I took going um, from corporate to being an entrepreneur. Um, which I recently got a great reframe on that because you think of jumping, like even skydiving, you're jumping and you're going down, which if I can reframe my corporate jump, how high can I go? Right? How high can I jump?
So,
So,
so that leads me to another question. So where do you see yourself in 5 years?
hmm, jumping off docks at my cottage. Um,
Like mentally, physically,
yeah,
spiritually, or even your business? Like where do you see yourself in, or like, yeah, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
it's an interesting uh, time span to think that far ahead. I think I'm very focused on being who I am today, and not trying to worry about the outcome. I think the greatest scientist in the world can't imagine what I'm capable of. I think that's the same for everyone listening. The greatest scientist in the world cannot even begin to imagine what we are capable of.
Mhm.
And I believe I'm put here to help people uncover that capability within them and to have the confidence to get after the things that make them happy and things that light them up. So 5 years from now, I don't know. I have so many more books in me. I have so many more stages to stand on.
Mm.
Um,
Awesome.
in 5 years, I definitely like to have done some big stages. Like I picture Scotiabank Arena standing there and inspiring 20,000 people to get after it. Yeah.
Right on.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so people that are just listening, you should really like just see how her face is just glowing in this moment. And that's what I love seeing when
Mhm.
people think about and embody the possibility
Yeah.
of.
And then in my life, like there's like in the next 5 years, my boys are young adults, like they could both get married, there could be babies, like there's so much exciting things that could happen, right? So, mhm.
Yeah, and us as humans, when we have the ability to see things in our mind, it's easier to see the pathway. It's easier to step into what it is that we need to step into. And
Mhm.
because our visual acuity is the strongest thing about us as human beings. And well, actually, no, I'm going to say energetically, but our
Mm.
visual is kind of like our flashlight. But I think our ability, like our natural ability, and this is just my opinion, um, that even when we were first here on this planet and there was no language, like language was created, right? And when you look at language, there's, oh my gosh, I think like the thousands and thousands of languages. Um, but I think with language, it took us away from our energetic
Mm.
connection, right? Because before there was language, we can literally tell if there was danger from like miles away, just from a vibration of our feet actually being on the ground. And I love that so many people that I've had as a guest on this podcast, almost every one of them has had this beautiful spiritual element about them. And so I really feel that there's this shift that's happening, that people are just tired of being a number, being in the corporate world, and tired of like other things even in the world, and coming back to natural state of connecting with themselves, connecting with like-minded people, and connecting more energetically to what feels good, whether it's a spirituality, whether it's grace, whether it's the universe, or even I've heard people call things other words that resonate with them, which I think is great. You call it whatever you want, right? But it's a beautiful time. And uh, all of you listening, I hope you understand that it is a beautiful time and that we can choose to see it in that way because change is inevitable. We never stay in one spot, right? We have two legs for a reason. We keep going. And so, what are some kind of last things that you would maybe want to mention to people or to give to people to innovate them or get
Mhm.
them in the direction that they need to go in.
Yeah, maybe I'll come back to the title of the book, Grit, Grace, and Goals. Why is it called that? Grit is taking steps every day towards your goal. It's trying new things, it's going skydiving. And in this world that we're living in, we can have too much grit. We can turn into hustle where we're just do all the time. And so in my book, I talk about having the right balance between grit and grace. Grace is loving yourself, taking care of yourself, honoring your own energy, keeping one foot on your track. And so having too much grace can lead to sitting on the couch eating bonbons all day watching Netflix, right? So somewhere in the middle where you have grit and grace. And someone asked me, how do I know if I'm resting or procrastinating? Ask yourself, you know the answer.
Yeah.
Right? So having the right balance of grit and grace and having that goal in mind. I have lots of goals. I don't know if people are watching on my whiteboard. I have one where 50,000 girls have read my next book. So I have a version of my book coming for kids who play sports, but it's directed mostly at girls who play hockey. And that's a goal, right? So I'm having the right balance of grit and grace to get after that goal.
That's
That's the
awesome. I
Yeah,
absolutely love it. Well, thank you so much. And I'm going to have all of Sarah's information in the show notes, so where you can buy her book and all of that great stuff. And yeah, thank you so much for sharing your energy with all of our listeners and me. And yeah, I'm looking forward to connecting with you again soon.
for sure. Thank you for having me on the show, Tree, and thank you to all the listeners.
And thanks for listening to another great episode of the Root of It All podcast with Tree. So if you want to check us out on Instagram or Facebook, you can go to Business Growth Results on either of those platforms, or you can even go to businessgrowthresults.com if you have a suggested topic or theme, or you want to get a free hypnosis download. So we'll talk to you soon. Till next time, see you later.